Chicago, 2011. A cop is murdered. Police and prosecutors swear they have the trigger man. He swears he didn't do it. How far will each side go to prove they're right?
Like it's just one bombshell after another, where you're like, what?
The story of a PlayStation, a brain-eating amoeba, and the relentless pursuit of justice. Off Duty, out now. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, this is Hannah Berner from Giggly Squad. Have you ever put on a bra that makes you feel like a goddess? Prepare to be obsessed with the Dream Angels Wicked Bra from Victoria's Secret, the iconic brand behind the world's most comfortable bras. And I only wear the most comfortable bras. The bestseller features an innovative sling for perfect lift without padding, and the fit is chef's kiss. Awaken your inner goddess with new colors and super femme lace embroidery. Find out why this bra has thousands of 5-star reviews and counting. Shop it in stores and online at victoriasecret.com.
Howdy, howdy, ho, and welcome to Fantasy Fan Fellas. I'm Hayden, producer of the Fantasy Fangirls podcast and your resident lover of all things Sanderson.
And I'm Steven, your bookish internet goofball, but you can call me the Smash Daddy.
And we are currently deep diving Brandon Sanderson's fantasy epic, Mistborn. But here's the catch. Steven here has not read Mistborn before.
That's right, hey. So each week, you'll get my unfiltered, raw reactions to every single chapter.
And along the way, we'll do character deep dives, magic explainers, and Steven will even try to guess what's next. Spoiler alert, he'll be wrong.
Newsflash, I'm never wrong. Episodes come out every Wednesday, and you can find Fantasy Fan Fellas wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Psych Legal Pop podcast. This is a podcast where we talk about popular culture through the lens of an attorney and a therapist. I'm Brooke Brigham. I'm the attorney.
And I'm Tess Brigham. I'm the therapist.
And today we are going to be talking about a documentary that's currently number one on Netflix.
Yes.
Everybody is talking about this. It's called Unknown Number, The High School Catfish.
Yes.
And so this takes place in a town called Beale City in Michigan. And this is a very small town. The population is 332 people as of the 2020 U.S. Census.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. And they describe it as having one stoplight and 2 bars. So everybody knows everybody. That's an understatement.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
So my first thought was that, this focuses on a group of high school students, and their parents seemed very enmeshed in their lives. Mm-hmm. Because there is nothing else to do. So the parents are really involved in their kids' lives and everything they're doing.
The other thing is, oh God. My brain freezes already. It's not good. Did you know the big twist or no when you started watching this?
When I started watching it, no.
Oh, okay. So you got pure because I knew what the twist was.
Oh,
some people did, some people didn't. Okay,
spoiler alert.
Yes.
Like if you want to be surprised, turn this off, go watch it, come back, because it is a huge twist. And at certain points I thought, oh, well, this is the person who's doing this. And then I was like, no, maybe it's this person. And I really did not see it coming. I didn't.
You're just like Sean. You and Sean. Shocked.
Yeah. So basically, this centers around these 2 kids, Lauren and Owen. Mm-hmm. And they met, I think, in junior high school.
Yeah.
And then they started, I don't know if they started dating in junior high or in high school, but basically they were a couple. And so present day, they are students at least when this is being made, students at the Beale City High School, which again, I think, did I look up how many? I think they said there was Well, it's all one school. It's like kindergarten through 12th. There's like
Yeah.
30 kids per class. or
So I
something.
also think that I was confused because I think that there's a lot of little towns around there. And I feel like, right, this Beale is maybe the center point because I don't know. I got confused because when I was reading articles about this, they would mention where the Lacaris, Lauren's family would move to this town and this town and this town. I was like, none of that's Beale.
Yeah, I'm sure it's like in the middle of Michigan, and there's all these little smaller towns surrounding it. So maybe kids from other small towns come in to go to this school. But I mean, I remember.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I remember the number 70 for some reason. Like maybe there were 70 kids total in the high school, something like that. But I mean, yeah, if the official population of the town is only 300 and something. So everybody knows everybody's business. And like I said, when Lauren and Owen get together, then their mothers kind of become best friends. And their mothers are very involved in this relationship. And so Kendra is Lauren's mom, and Stephen is Lauren.
Sorry. Go on.
Oh, Sean is Lauren's dad, and then Owen's parents are Jill and Dave. So Jill and Kendra become best friends, and Lauren and Owen are like this golden couple. And this is the center of the story.
Yeah. It is just a crazy story. I have like 15 pages of notes.
Wow. So what happens is one day, Lauren starts getting these text messages.
Yeah. It started around October 2020 because there was a big Halloween party coming up. And that was when the text messages started, prior to this party, because there was a little controversy because this girl, Chloe, who I think seems very popular, she's the one throwing the party. Lauren's not friends with Chloe in that group very much, but Owen is. That's the other thing. Owen is. So I think Owen was like, well, we're dating. You need to come with me. And then these messages started.
Yeah. So these texts come in from an unknown number. And I think the first text says something like, Owen is going to break up with you. They start out not too graphic. Just basically stuff like taunting Lauren about Owen and their relationship. And, he's going to break up with you. He doesn't like you. Makes it sound like he's, seeing other girls and stuff like that. And then it got, quiet for a little while.
I have 11 months.
Yeah, 11 months.
Which is actually makes me up when we talk about the whole thing at the end. That's surprising because the way keep going, but they made it was sort of presented like, oh, a few months later the messages started again from the perpetrator, and yet it was 11 months. That's almost a year.
Yeah.
So
they start up again, and the texts are trying to break them up, basically saying things to Chloe. What am I saying? Chloe.
To
Lauren, saying things to her to try to make her feel insecure, and Owen's doing this or doing that. And it was like, it started out, I have down here 6 texts a day.
Yeah.
But then eventually it got up to like 50 texts every day. But they're just escalating. And, first it's like 30, then 40, then 50. And then they start to escalate in, they're very graphic. They start to get sexually really, really graphic. And so Lauren's mom is telling her, oh, just ignore it. Just ignore it.
Well, and the other thing that was happening was that made them suspicious and thinking it was a student was that in one of the messages, they called her low LO. That's Lauren's nickname. That's something that most people probably, unless you're in her life, know. And then they would know what she was wearing to school every day. They know because they would comment on, that ugly ass shirt or that or that. So it was starting because they were, the families did get together and they were trying to figure this out. They were trying to figure out, like, in a small town, who's doing this. But yeah, the craziness of how young Lauren was. I mean, I think she was 14, 15. I mean, Owen and I are down to suck finger fuck. I mean, that was one of the messages. It's insane. It's like, what?
They're super graphic. And actually, I have written down here, there were 700 kids. I knew it was a 70. 700 kids in the whole school. So the high school is probably less than 100.
Yeah, because that's 4 years out of all of 12 years.
It's like kindergarten through.
So 700, I mean, but it's a couple hundred. So okay. So now it makes sense. When they said 30 kids to a class, I'm like, in a classroom or the class? The class itself is 30 kids. And I think that's what they were saying. Like, so there's about 120 kids in high school.
Like freshman through senior. Yeah. So, well, my first thought was, well, change your number, like change your number. Don't give it to anyone. That should have been a clue right there that, because they were saying, I don't know if it was both the moms, but I know that Jill was saying, well, no, we don't want to change the number because we want to try to catch this person. Like, why? Like, I don't know. So yeah, because everyone's trying to figure out who it is. So these girls would talk loud around other people. And the only time that what they talked about came up in the text was when Lauren was around.
Yeah.
So I don't know,
so
everybody's trying to figure this out.
So yeah, they think it's Lauren. So Lauren starts to become the suspect. Is she doing this to herself? And this is where we meet two men. Bill Chillman, great name. He's the superintendent. And I guess his job is he does a lot of these cyber stalking cases. I guess he gets involved when something happens like this. And then Dan Boyer, Mr. Boyer, who's the principal. And Kendra at one point says, she's like, I don't feel like the school handled it very well. Okay. But I don't know what you thought. I've seen some other criticism of these two in articles, but I kind of felt like I feel like the principal really cared. I really got the vibe that the principal cared. He wanted to fix this. He wanted to solve this. And the families were coming in insisting, like, you need to take the kids' phone away. They should not have their phones during the day, which I agree with. I mean, I think they should be in a locker. The problem is they were like, we can't make this unilateral decision that's going to affect everybody in this school just because, you know what I mean? Which I understand. And apparently a lot of parents would push back because they were like, if there's a school shooting, I want my kid to be able to reach me. This is the world we're living in.
That's the
I just want everyone to know.
The dumbest argument. Like you're going to sacrifice your child's mental health in case an event, they have to call you in an emergency.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, that's ridiculous. But yeah, the pushback on the phone thing. But in the school, they were trying, like they were looking at video surveillance, trying to tie the calls.
Yes.
To like when kids were texting, like when the incoming texts were coming in to Lauren and looking to see, well, who was texting at that time, 8:47. So they really were trying, but
yeah, I mean, Lauren said I would send messages to Mr. Boyer and then he would track them and he'd say, okay. And he would track the time. This guy's a principal of a school, right? Like this is like, he has to drop everything. And I mean, I feel like they did. You can say that I'm wrong about this, but anyway. Yeah, no, they were trying.
And so after a while, this started to get to Lauren, and she started to believe these messages and believe that Owen was cheating on her or whatever.
It just all made her suspicious. Like it just, right? whatever trust she had for him. It was kind of making her question her trust.
Yeah, because this person is texting her all day long how her and Owen are doing all of these sexual things. And, they were awful, really like unrepeatable texts. I mean, they were awful. They were graphic. And then it started getting into the realm of, well, you should just kill yourself.
Yeah.
You should die.
I wrote a few of those down. Kill yourself now, bitch. Dead, hashtag bang bang, hashtag suicide. He'd be better if you were dead. Ugh.
Finish yourself before we do. Yeah. And
one thing, sorry,
they ended up breaking up.
Yeah. Yeah. Because of all of it, just the pressure got to be too much. One thing was that, the parents didn't want, especially Jill, didn't want him to change his number.
Mm-hmm.
And because they were so determined to catch this guy, which I kind of questioned because Jill, I understand it's important to catch this person, but isn't your son's mental health more important and the thing that you need to focus on? The other thing too was, my first thing was, well, just block the number. And they were like, they can't block the number because the texter was using a random number generator on their phone.
Yeah.
And so they text the number, you block this one number and a new number would come up. Mm-hmm. Really, truly, the only way this would end is if you got a new phone and you told no one the number.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. And maybe, well, anyway. So 15 months after this started, they bring in this officer Maine.
Yeah, Mike Maine
becomes involved.
Mm-hmm. Because they were worried about self-harm. Like it started to, when they got to this place of like, kill yourself.
Yeah. So so now they start to focus on this girl, Chloe.
Yeah. Well, Mike comes in with this theory. This theory of, I'm looking for a group of students, and I think a group of female students,
mm-hmm.
close, that have a close bond with each other, and they're not going to talk or share any of this. I thought that was a bizarre theory. I don't like it was never explained. Like, how did you come up with that?
Mm-hmm.
So
I think it's just stereotypical, and that's why
mm-hmm.
this documentary is kind of shocking. It's not who you think it is.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. We hear about, especially girls
mm-hmm.
bullying other girls by texting, and it's usually focused around a boy
mm-hmm.
or looks or popular, that's the stereotypical high school bullying scenario.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
that's what he focused on.
All right. Yeah. But you're right. This is when Chloe Wilson, who is that very popular girl that threw the Halloween party. And I guess Chloe and Owen were sort of a little bit more than friends. Like they were
mm-hmm.
always had friends. They believed that Chloe had a crush on Owen. Apparently Owen, who was like the prom king or the homecoming king, is
hot stuff.
Hot stuff in this town that everyone wants Owen. So, I mean, I think Chloe and Owen were friends, and I think once in a while they'd make out,
mm-hmm.
I mean, I think or kiss or fool around or something. I think that was the relationship. But Chloe and Lauren played basketball together. And so during that time, basketball season, the texter started making comments about her games and started referencing points. And that also made Lauren feel horrible. She just didn't want to try anymore. So Kendra, her mom, was the volunteer scorekeeper for the games. And one of the messages is the sender said that they scored 12 points. And so they're like, okay, well, let's look up who scored 12 points that game. Chloe. So this is when, Chloe's the one.
Yeah. And Chloe's parents, Craig and Tammy, her dad is a police officer. Craig is a police officer. And, so he's kind of doing his own,
mm-hmm.
investigation of all this. Obviously, he doesn't believe it's his daughter. They thought that people were jealous of Chloe. And so that's why, that's why they were saying these things. And I just wrote in the notes here, I said, you can be popular and still be disturbed. Because I felt like that kept coming up a lot. Well, she's so popular and she, she has all these friends. Like, why would she be doing that? And it's like, that has nothing to do with anything.
Well, but also the other thing was, I felt like, well, when they landed on Chloe, they were like, oh, she has 2 close friends, Sophie and Macy. And so Officer Main was like, there's my group. There's my group.
Exactly.
There we go.
The popular girls.
Case solved.
Yeah. And they're all close with Owen. They're all
oh yeah.
friends.
Again, Owen is the man.
And Owen is not, I mean, you see him later as he's, kind of grown up a little bit, but in the beginning, he's just like this little pipsqueak. Like all these girls are clamoring over him.
Well, they're 30. There's 30 kids in a class.
That's right.
You know what?
Slim, I guess.
Yeah, of the 15 boys, he is truly the hottest,
the best. Yeah,
yeah. And then was it Sophie? Like, I guess Sophie, which is one of Chloe's friends, her mom went through her phone to see if there was anything suspicious. Like they were going, parents were going through. They weren't finding anything. Chloe, all the things that started to happen with Chloe. Chloe was like, yeah, you can easily create a Snapchat account and then do this and then do that. Like, she's trying to explain to everybody, what's going on.
What was the thing where Chloe, that they found some Florida area codes?
Yeah. Yeah. So her family
in Florida, what did that have to do with?
Yeah. So the family traveled down to Florida for the holidays or some holiday. And then what happened was that all of a sudden, the messages that Owen and Lauren were getting were all Florida area codes and area codes connected to where they went. But one thing back to your this, and I think this doesn't get, you're absolutely right about how involved the parents are. And this kind of gets, doesn't spend a lot of time on this, but did you clock this thing of like, so Sophie's mom goes through the phone, right? Looking through the phone. And then Jill, who's Owen's mom, starts sending texts as Owen, trying to confront Sophie over all of this stuff. Like, this is the part, this is the part where it's like, yeah, Jill, what's happening here?
Yeah, they're way too involved. And Jill kept insisting that they had to catch this person. And yeah, like you said, so they can't get rid of the phone. To me, it's like, what? Why? Like,
well, why can't Lauren get rid of the phone? That's what I was thinking. Well, that's Owen. Why didn't her parents intervene and say get rid of the phone?
Same excuse, pretending to, care about wanting to catch someone. I don't know. Again, if that were my child, they'd be like, I don't care about catching this person. I mean, because Jill was like, well, what if we know this person and they're someone that we let into our home? And it's like, well, okay. I mean, I see your point, but
yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to know what to do.
Well, yeah. But so what happens then is Owen and Lauren start getting messages from Chloe referencing herself and sending pics of her and Owen together. And everyone's like, well, then if Chloe was the texter, why say her name? And why put photos of herself? Like, this person doesn't want to get caught. And so that's when they kind of piece together like, oh, wait, someone's setting Chloe up. And there was this other thing where so then when they gave up on Chloe, there was a photo taken at Owen's family's Christmas Day holiday. And there's this pic from his house. It's a really weird pic. It's like of a couch and some presents. And so then everyone's like, okay, it's got to be a member of the family. It's got to be someone who was over in the member of the family. And so they zero in on poor cousin Adriana. I really felt for this girl. Poor cousin Adriana, who was not as popular as Owen. And she had a group of girls that she hung out with as well, but they were like girls that kind of kept to themselves. And, they just kind of did their own thing. And then
her mom, Adriana's mom, posted something on Facebook about the bullying. And so then Adriana starts getting these
Yeah.
texts, these terrible texts constantly. So,
Well, and the other thing too, Adriana talks about, so they end up pulling Adriana in to interview her, the police. And I'm like, are they alerting parents? Do you have to alert, if you're a police officer and you go to a school and you suspect something and your kid's 15, 16, do you have to call the parents before they speak to the police?
Well, that's a good question because, I mean, if you just look at the Miranda, rights in general, I mean, it only applies if you're in custody, you're not free to leave, and you're being interrogated. I mean, I think in terms of minors, I mean, it's good practice. I don't think you should be questioning a child without a parent present.
But I guess it's not against the law because we've seen it in other documentaries.
Yeah, because again, like they're not in custody. But they do this all the time. They just say, "Hey, I just want to talk to you," and then they're like, "Well, you were free to leave. You weren't in custody, so whatever you said during that time is."
Because this 15-year-old should know all of that, right? These, know to ask, am I free to leave? So, yeah, I mean, Adriana was really hurt. She's like, I never wronged anyone. And now people are looking at me as guilty. I'm scared of the police now. She's, this has upset Adriana, who is, not part of any of this. Her crime is that she's related to Owen.
Yeah. So the message is we're now into 2022, this has been a couple of years.
Yeah, it goes on for like 2 years.
And there's still just constant messages, I mean, I just can't, 2 years of getting 50 texts a day telling you to kill yourself. And I mean, and your boyfriend's cheating on you and this is what we're doing. And I mean, this is torture.
Yeah, for both of them. I mean, Owen was tortured too. Like, they said they were getting messages at 1 a.m., 3 a.m. I mean, it was crazy. Yeah.
And it was following. So this is like after they had broken up, Owen goes to some sporting event or something in Pinconning, Michigan, and he meets a girl there. And then suddenly her mom starts getting texts. This girl's mom. I mean, all these innocent people are just being dragged in. It's like anyone that Owen has contact with, it seems like. But the police didn't seem to really put that together at this point. That Owen is the common denominator. It's not Lauren.
Yeah. Well, this is when Officer Main, this is April of 2022, Officer Main contacts the FBI, Bradley Peter. And so he's the FBI liaison. And they give, I guess, I'm sure this FBI has much better software and tools and all of that kind of stuff.
From the cyber crimes unit of the FBI. They can figure out anything.
Yeah. So also while the backdrop of this, what also was happening was that Sean and Kendra were in a really bad financial situation. And during that time, they had moved like 3 times and their marriage was not good at all.
Yeah. So this guy, Brad Peters, he takes Owen's phone, he extracts his phone, he does this, whatever they do. And he found nothing. He found nothing, implicating him.
Well, they gave him a list of his friends, students. And so then it was like, okay, well, give us all the numbers of all the adults in your lives.
Yeah. And this is when they come up with 2 IP addresses, phone numbers who were attached to not any of the friends in the friend group, but they found Kendra.
Dun, dun, dun. So tell me how you felt in that moment. Did you let out a gasp?
I don't remember, but I do remember being surprised. I did not suspect her at all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't,
Did you suspect any of the parents?
No. I sort of thought maybe that maybe like Lauren was doing it herself for attention, or I don't know. I'm trying to think of who I I suspected a few people along the way. I can't remember now because it was so shocking when.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing. Like I feel like when you look at these people and these families and everyone's like, couldn't you figure it out? And all that, I'm kind of like, no, I don't think my mind would go there. I think that you assume that if your 15-year-old is being cyberbullied, it's another kid. And the way the text messages were written and the way it was presented and knowing everything about everybody's lives and all of that.
One thing about the texts is that the texter used the way kids talk, the shortened, the abbreviations.
No capitalization.
No capitalization or punctuation, anything. Me, you could tell it's an adult.
Yeah. I always have to capitalize.
Capitalize, punctuate, has to make sense.
Yeah.
Full sentences. So it did look like a teenager was writing it. So it was very well thought out.
Yeah.
So it turns out that Kendra has an IT background. And so that's how she was able to do all this stuff to make it look like the calls were coming from Chloe in Florida, and to make it look, all these things that nobody else could figure out.
And apparently she was super involved in the school and was always around. So it was like she was a student.
She also she was always trying to interject herself in the investigation to try to throw them off. And and even the superintendent, couldn't believe it because he knew her very well. She was very involved. She coached and kept score. She did all the stuff with the basketball team, with Lauren's team. And
the principal
she's just
like, what?
She's just this mom, involved mom. So everyone was pretty shocked. And the fact that, not only were these texts so harassing and, again,
graphic,
she's telling
sexually.
her the sexual graphic, and telling her daughter, you should just kill yourself.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of surprised that she didn't, because it was constant for 2 years.
Yeah.
2 years, someone is telling you to kill yourself every day and you should just die. I mean,
and this is also, I assume these are all adults listening to this. We are taking this all in as adults. Like, imagine being 15 in this small town, and this is your world. It is, it is. It's like, I can't imagine how either of these kids made it through. But I think obviously the kill yourself was disturbing, but I really thought those first messages about sick, fucks, like blowjobs, I'm going to blow him, like graphic sexually. This started when the girl was 13.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know.
Yeah. So the police go to confront Kendra. I guess it was 22 months after this whole thing started. I'm assuming when they say this whole thing started, it was 22 months. I think maybe was that including the 11 months that that it stopped.
Because it started in 20. Did it start in
22? Well, I know she pled guilty. We'll get to that in 2023. I'm not quite sure how fast that was, but so it was end of 2022. But the police confront Kendra, and Lauren is there that day, and they ask, like, Lauren needs to be in another room, and she denies it at first, but then she breaks down and basically admits to it.
Yeah, well, wasn't Lauren there the whole time? Or no, after she confesses, they bring
Yes.
Lauren in.
And Kendra's like, you have to tell Lauren You have to tell Owen and his family. Like, she was hoping that the police weren't going to tell anybody that it was her.
Right.
And it's like,
just gonna like give her a warning. I mean,
yeah. And say, don't text anymore. It's like, no, this is a criminal case. People are going to know.
Yeah, no, she was well, they came with a search warrant in hand for her devices.
Mm-hmm.
So, so they come in and it didn't take her very long to confess. And why was there a table full of alcohol behind her?
Oh, I didn't clock that. Oh, interesting.
Oh my God. There's behind her is like a dining room type table that is every inch of the top of the table is filled with alcohol bottles. Beer.
And they're all for sure with alcohol bottles?
That's what it looked like. I kept trying to, it's hard. I mean, I can't zoom in or whatever, but it looked like a combination of beer bottles and hard alcohol bottles.
Interesting.
I mean, unless it's something else. And I don't know, maybe they made their own, maybe they're brewing their own beer or something.
Mm-hmm.
But it was odd. Anyway.
So what did you think of this? So Kendra claims, and she continues to claim, I was not the original texter. There was an original texter around Halloween of 2020 that started this. And then she says, I just kind of kept it going. I just kind of kept it she picked it up. She's claiming she's the one that picked it up and kept it going. And the thing is, what's so weird is at first I was like, okay, so that must have meant like 2 months later, a month later. And so when I saw in my notes 11 months, right? It's like, that is not just like, right. That's weird. That's not like you jumped on the bandwagon. That's like you were looking for something. You needed to do something. And that's what you were like, oh, I can do this.
I don't believe that. I don't believe anything Kendra says. I
don't believe it either.
I don't
think it was
believe
always
it,
her.
But I don't know why she stopped for 11 months. Maybe she realized, okay, this is wrong. I should stop. And then she just couldn't help herself, because what it turns out is that the motivating factor behind all this is she's obsessed with Owen.
Yes.
So, in a sexual way, in a inappropriate way. So
yes,
we can get to that later. But
yeah, there's lots of different pieces of this, theories. Psych Legal Pop. We'll be back after these messages.
This message comes from Jackson. Taxes aren't something you can only think about once a year. With investments, planning for tax day is year-round. Fortunately, Jackson offers tax-efficient products. Visit jackson.com for more information on how our products can make your tax bill a little bit less painful. Jackson is short for Jackson Financial Incorporated, Jackson National Life Insurance Company, Lansing, Michigan, and Jackson National Life Insurance Company of New York, Purchase, New York.
Chicago, 2011. A cop is murdered. Police and prosecutors swear they have the trigger man. He swears he didn't do it. How far will each side go to prove they're right?
Like it's just one bombshell after another, where you're like, what?
The story of a PlayStation, a brain-eating amoeba, and the relentless pursuit of justice. Off Duty, out now. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
But what was so crazy is like they have Lauren come out and she sits down on this chair, and the chair's next to Kendra, and they tell Lauren it was your mom. And Kendra is trying to like hug and touch Lauren. Mm-hmm. And Lauren is just like a deer in the headlights.
Mm-hmm.
You can see that she's just trying to take it all in. And here's her mom like touching her, getting in her space. It's just so Sean, her husband, I felt really bad for him because he obviously had no idea what was going on. And Sean finds out, he rushes home. They then inform Sean, on top of all this, that she lost her last 2 jobs and she's been unemployed for over a year. And Sean's like, wait, what? Huh?
Mm-hmm. He didn't know.
He didn't know that either. And Sean comes in and he's like, you need to leave. He was like, you need to get out of this house.
Mm-hmm.
He was, I felt like of all the parents, he was the one that was like the most get away from us. Like not, let's try to work this out. It was
Right.
like,
Well,
you need to get away from us right now.
And notice like he really didn't have any kind of disbelief because I think he knew. I think he had Kendra's number and he knew, and this just confirmed everything that he knew.
Yeah. Or that he feared it, but never truly believed that she could do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like, oh crap. Right. Oh, she really
now
did. I was right.
Because he very quickly went from 0 to 60 and was just like, okay, yeah, you need to leave. And, she's like, again, she's crying and saying, I can't leave Lauren and, petting her and just.
Yeah. Well, yeah, she's crying saying it was a really stressful time. And this is where Lauren, we've been seeing Kendra throughout this documentary. And so dun, 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 the big twist happens. So now, you're looking at Kendra differently and they start to talk to her about like, okay, what happened? And this I thought was unbelievable, which made me realize like this woman is not better. She's like, well, we all make mistakes. Mm-hmm. People break the law all the time, like drinking and driving, but you don't get caught. She's like, people lose sight of the whole story.
Oh yeah, she's like, oh, this is no big deal. Like,
well, I feel like she was sort of saying like, I'm a broken person. You don't know the full story of my life. I'm a broken person. And, people make mistakes and people break the law all the time and don't get caught. And I broke the law and, I'm getting caught. I was like, dear God, woman, you've already been in prison and out and you were supposed to be in therapy apparently. And like, this is your claim. Okay. That's someone who she's not taking accountability.
No, not at all. She's totally in denial. Like she's saying they were asking her about that day and she's saying, well, it was a very high emotional day in our house, a day of confusion, of unknown answers, shock. And it's like, lady, she's just, I don't know. I don't know how long after all this happened that interview was, but she seems to have not like really learned anything or accepted responsibility for anything or.
Yeah. And did you also notice that like when Sean got there, he's like, she has a third phone, and the police were like, what?
Well, he told on
her. And then they walked in and Sean's like, the police are like, you have a third phone. And she just looks and she's like, yeah, it's hidden between some rocks outside. Apparently she had it with her and she hid it when she saw the police because she was taking out the trash. So she hid it when she saw the police. But I love Sean. She's got another phone. Get all the phones.
Sean was just waiting for this day.
Yeah. Obviously if you have a partner that has 3 phones, that's quite suspicious. Quite suspicious.
Yeah. And, poor Lauren, she's like confused. Why she's saying, why did my mom do this? Did she really do this? Sean is like, I can't believe she would do this to our daughter. Yeah. It is shocking because then all of a sudden everyone's clocking like, oh my God, your mom was telling you to kill yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Your mom was cyber stalking you.
Mm-hmm.
And, anyway. So then there's this, cousin. Melissa, who is Kendra's cousin. She totally tells on Kendra. she tells us the true Kendra.
But they've been on a lot of cruises like us.
Oh yeah.
They were on like cruise. They love to cruise.
Yes. She says that Kendra likes attention and, she was a coach and she was a good mom or whatever. But, she basically says, yeah, I can believe this.
Yeah. So that means like, And I think she points out, like, if Kendra was here and I was doing this interview, she would be trying to get attention, off to the side. And so I think that obviously Melissa has always kind of thought that, because I think that she also said, so Melissa also says, Lauren she said, well, she was a good person. If you called her, you needed help, she would come and get you. And I think that's the part about all of this that's so bizarre, which is, wait a minute, but you're kind and nice and you're being good to me, but this is like, who are you? And I think that that's the part that's hard to reconcile, is the kind and nice person is part of, this deeply mentally ill person.
Yeah. Yeah. And going back to like how, Kendra claims she didn't start the text, which is total bullshit. But she's trying to say that she kept it going. She inserted herself to do detective work. She claims she was trying to figure out who the person was. And it's like, Kendra, it's you.
Yes, I know.
This is how detached she is from it.
Did she say at one point she was hoping someone would confess?
Yeah.
And then I wrote that down and I have a question mark. I'm like, so yeah, you would need to confess.
I know. It's like, she doesn't remember. Oh yeah, it's me who's doing it. Like,
no, you know what? It's also what I wonder is that I think she was hoping that Chloe would just break down and say, yes, I did it. Like, leave me alone. I don't know. I mean, I really don't know what she was thinking, that she thought. I mean, I think she was waiting for one of these other people that she's setting up to just crack or something under the pressure. I don't know.
Yeah. But the police say that she was spending anywhere between 1 and 8 hours a day texting.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean,
and also these text messages were coming at 1 a.m., 3 a.m.
Yeah.
So that means that she is not sleeping.
She wasn't working at the time.
Wasn't working, but pretending to work. So she had to do that little dance for Sean. And, she sort of, Kendra said it was like an escape, and one of the things, a period of time of things that Kendra texted to Lauren is about Lauren being anorexic and skinny and like flat ass and all of these things. And, the producer asks, well, do you think you were actually sending all of these messages to yourself? And this was directed by Skye Borgman. I don't know if she's the one and she's a really good documentarian. She's done a lot of these. I don't know if that was her asking the question, but I was a little annoyed. I'm like, don't give this woman, let the therapist ask her those questions. Like, now you're kind of giving her an out.
Yeah.
I just was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. And she's saying, when they're questioning her about this same topic, that she's saying that, she used, like you said, she's using Lauren's insecurities about her body or whatever against her. And the producer, whoever asked if she was afraid that Lauren would actually kill herself. And she said no.
Yeah.
Like, okay. And she says something about how she and Lauren are best friends. Lauren needs her. I don't know. And this is where they bring up this thing about, I don't know if this is a technical term, but cyber Munchausen's.
Yes. And I was going to talk about that because there was an article in The Cut in January of this year. And this all started with, I'm going to read part of this article, but I thought it was Stillman that made the comment about Munchausen's.
I don't know who it was. I just
okay, but in this article they say Boyer. So Boyer observed it's like cyber Munchausen's. Boyer didn't know it at the time, but the phenomenon is one psychiatrists have been tracking for decades. In the 90s, Dr. Mark Feldman, then an associate professor of psychology at the University of Alabama, who specializes in Munchausen syndrome, was told about a man claiming to be a Catholic monk in an online support group. The man posted about his fast-growing cancer and how, given his vow of poverty, he couldn't seek any treatment. At first, people in the group offered sympathy, but over time, some grew suspicious. When someone finally challenged him, the man admitted it was a hoax. He wasn't a monk, and he never had cancer. Feldman saw the monk as a twist on his clinical specialty. Munchausen's is a mental health disorder in which patients feign or purposely induce medical problems. The motive is partly to gratify an emotional need, to marshal the support and attention reserved for the ill. The behavior often feeds on itself, becoming addictive or compulsive, according to patients. People who struggle to define themselves tap into an instant identity: patient, victim, hero. And in 2000, Feldman wrote a paper calling the disorder, calling it Munchausen by internet, and has watched its manifestations track the advance of tech, from the early online forums to those fiending diseases on GoFundMe or TikTok. And so what the experts are saying is this is because that while traditional bullying is now cyberbullying, that this is a whole other subset of Munchausen's. And it's, it's now in the DSM, and there's a different name for it. I have it written down because they changed that to factitious disorder. Factitious disorder imposed on another.
So if you take out the cyber part of it, like, if you're just, I don't see how, but how is it Munchausen's if, she's basically just bullying Lauren?
So much like a mother who is like, why can't I think of her name? Very famous Munchausen case.
Oh, the
Mommy Dead and Dearest. Like, what's
Gypsy Rose.
Thank you. I was like, I know it's so Gypsy Rose. Her mom was making her sick. Her mom was physically making her sick. So it would get the kid Gypsy attention, and through that, the mom would be the hero, the whatever. So with the cyber stalking situation, with this, it's like now Lauren is a victim of this. It's not physical, it's mental. And now Kendra gets to be the mom, the hero, also a victim. And, people feel sorry for her, and they're seeing how strong she is and how much she's involved.
Because, so that's why she was saying that Lauren needs me. So, because Lauren's being bullied. So she really needs me, and we're close and we're good friends. And that's a way to stay close to Lauren. Yeah.
So I think that I agree with you. I think she did have a thing for Owen.
Oh, she clearly did.
She did have a thing for Owen. I think that was part of it.
He even said,
but I think that she had a thing for Owen, and I think that she started to recognize, I'm getting lots of attention from this. And that's, I think, what kept her going and why she continued to escalate. And the only way to escalate is, you got to go to all of this really sexual stuff. That's not working for her anymore. Let me go to killing yourself. Like, she escalated it herself because it wasn't enough.
Well, Owen and his mom describe at the sentencing. First of all, so she pled to 2 counts of stalking a minor, one for Owen, one for Lauren. And she was sentenced to 1.5 years in prison, which they say is the high end of the sentencing guideline range, which I think it should be higher. And, she claimed in mitigation that she had childhood trauma and mental illness, although we didn't get any specifics on that.
We do hear about some trauma, but I mean, she does say at the end.
Oh, okay. Well, didn't impress. I don't.
It's not an excuse. I mean, I'm not. But according to her, something happened. And we believe women. So,
yeah. So Jill and Owen, both spoke at the sentencing, and they both believe that she was obsessed with him. Even after he and Lauren broke up, Kendra would continue to go to Owen's games, his football games, basketball games, whatever. And
would
Owen
text him as Kendra.
Yeah.
She would text Owen. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That Owen said she was overly friendly. He felt like she liked him. She would do stuff like cut his steak for him. Like I said, come to the games. I mean, yeah, that's... Yeah,
God, I think Owen is hot stuff.
Well, I think it was more... Okay, if you go back to the beginning of the documentary, and they were talking about, how Owen and Lauren's relationship, that she called them the golden couple, that they were, they were the popular couple. They were both these, attractive blonde kids, prom queen and king, and, like kind of what stereotypically everyone envied. And I think that even starting at that point, I think Kendra envied that. Like she wanted to be that. She wanted to be the popular girl with the popular boyfriend who plays sports and this and that. And I think she fell in love with the idea of Owen, not necessarily Owen himself, but she wanted that for herself.
Yeah. Well, and also there was other things. I mean, there was all of this, these things don't happen in a vacuum. Like Kendra is dishonest, not just in this aspect of her life, but in every aspect of her life, right? Which is, she handled all of the family's finances. Apparently Sean said that they said their house was struck by lightning and she filed an insurance claim. And apparently they think she pocketed the money. So you're willing to do that. And then she wasn't paying any of the bills. I think because obviously she wasn't working and she was pretending to work. So she would fake business calls, apparently, when Sean was home to kind of show him, oh yeah, I'm working. Don't worry about me. So, and then Kendra claims that Sean knew about their financial situation, and Sean's saying, I think Sean suspected something, but I think this is where Sean put his, I think he suspected something. And the one thing that he did was he kind of, I think, put his head in the sand. But I also think he was just trying to survive. I mean, little did he know he was the only sole income of this family, and they're moving all the time. They keep getting, and she lies to him. They get an eviction notice. Oh, I'm selling the house. Oh, every time she's got some excuse. So he's kind of like, okay, now we have to move. We're going to be homeless. He's trying to just deal with the immediate survival versus what is going on here.
Yeah. So the trauma that she claims, which is kind of her defense, to all of this, is so when she was 17, she was raped. And after she had Lauren, she started becoming scared that her daughter might, have to go through the same trauma. And so she became obsessed with wanting to control the outcome of Lauren's life. She was scared to let her grow up. But I don't know how that makes no sense. Okay, I understand your fear, but how does what you did work towards that? How does that make her safe? How does that keep her safe? You did the opposite. You traumatized your daughter and you put her in danger of harming herself.
This goes back to another article I want to talk about, which is in Psychology Today, where this clinician is talking about that. Let's see. Much of the online discourse around the documentary has centered on Kendra's unwillingness to accept responsibility for behavior during her interview with the documentary. So they believe that understanding cognitive distortions can help shed light on this issue. So cognitive distortions are a biased way of thinking that enable people to justify problematic behaviors or maintain their perception of themselves as good and reasonable person, despite behaving in a way that might challenge that. They're based on illogical and irrational beliefs and affect individuals' decision-making, perceptions, and behavior. So, for example, an offender who assaults someone in a bar may claim that the victim looked at them in a derogatory way, so their violent response was reasonable. Now, clearly, someone looking at you the wrong way is not a good reason for assaulting them. However, the offender has distorted the way he thinks about the event to enable him to justify his actions and believe that he was right to do what he did. And so I think that, there's like 4 cognitive distortions in this case. And we see them all the way, like externalization of blame, blaming someone else for the situation that you bear responsibility to. That's her claiming that she didn't send the original text. Minimization, that's downplaying or minimizing the actions, how impactful. That's like downplaying her, Kendra downplaying that, oh no, my daughter wouldn't kill herself, or downplaying how this would, how deeply this would affect everybody. Rationalization, again, making excuses for why she's doing this. And moral licensing. And this cognitive distortion can happen when someone feels they've earned the right to act in a way that's inconsistent with typical society values or rules. This might be because of something positive that they've done in the past or through holding a particular role. And I also feel like I have some feelings about Chloe's parents. And I kind of feel like they're also using this moral licensing. Because I understand they're angry and upset and mad and felt like they weren't listened to, but I don't think they're being any better than any of the, they're also, again, too involved in their kid. You know what I mean? Like the way these parents acted about everything. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you remember them at the end?
Well, yeah. Well, Jill says she feels guilty for blaming Chloe and ruining her life.
Yes. All of it. Yeah.
Okay,
do you feel bad that you're texting Sophie,
Yeah. So you feel bad. Okay. Yeah. And Chloe's dad, he's a cop, and he's saying he tried to warn Mike Main about Kendra and Sean. So he's sort of deflecting, I'd warned them, and they should have been focused on them. And if they were focused on them, we wouldn't have had to, be doing all this or whatever.
Uh-huh. And they also suspect Sean and Lauren are involved in this, and they're going to play this off and get away with it. I mean, that part was odd. And then in the Cut article, which was earlier this year, they talk about how people were suspecting Kendra. Mm-hmm. It was kind of coming up. And so I believe that Chloe's dad, maybe did text Officer Main and say, hey, you know what, this Kendra, because there were these weird situations where like there's one story where these 2 parents are trying to look for something for the basketball game forever and ever and ever. And then they're like, I don't know where they're looking for it. I don't know if they have to buy it. It's a sticky mat. I don't know what that means. Mm-hmm. But apparently Kendra had hidden the sticky mat in a room and then told them, and it was weird. Like, why are you trying to sabotage this? So there were these weird things that she was doing. People, a lot of people were like, yeah, she came to the school a lot. Yeah, she was really involved. Yeah, it was this and that. So it's not like it was out of left field when it turned out to be Kendra. But what bugs me about Chloe's parents is just the way in which they are proud of their disgust and anger. The dad's like, yeah, look at my wife. Look at her being tough, And so they're angry. So this is that moral licensing. We are victims of this. So therefore, we can make accusations. We can act kind of, rude about it. And the other thing is, apparently Tammy, the mom, was going to have a watch party for all of her friends for the documentary.
What?
I mean, to really like ridicule Kendra. And again, I understand your anger. I'm with you. I would be angry and upset too. But they decided not to have the party. They were just going to do it. They felt like it was a family event. But it's like, this is not the healthy way to respond to any of this. I don't feel like any of these other parents have learned their lessons in all of this either.
Right. Because, ultimately, this is a horrible story and a horrible situation for I mean, for Kendra and for Lauren, okay, Kendra's a disturbed person who clearly had some kind of, who did clearly have trauma in her life, developed different coping mechanisms, was trying to, in her, crazy way, be close to her daughter, whatever it is. But I mean, but ultimately, like, poor Lauren, she's just kind of, I think she's still, at least when this documentary was filmed, she seemed to be in disbelief. And she said she still wanted her mother and needed her mother and wanted a relationship with her. Apparently, she was not allowed to see her mom, even though she's out of prison. She says she loves her mom more than anything. She wants to have a relationship again. She's going to college to study criminology, maybe to try to better understand her mom. I don't know, but that is the real. I mean, yeah, this is a tragedy. Having a watch party for a tragedy, and I mean, come on, this.
Yeah, that's my problem with them. It's like,
just to show you, that these people they for lack of a better term, they need to get a life. They need to have more to do. I know this impacted your children too. And, especially, ones who were targeted as maybe being like Chloe, whatever. But I don't know what to say. It's just, this is so
I feel
weird.
like this is one thing that I've noticed, I think, with both Chloe's parents and Jill. We don't hear from Dave that much. We mainly hear from Jill. There's a feeling of entitlement. There's a real feeling of entitlement because the dad says about Chloe, this was happening. She should be enjoying her life and doing fun things, and this is destroying her. And so again, that's the justification for these choices and these actions that they're, these comments they're making and all of that. So it's almost like this, yes, she was a victim. And yes, she probably should have, I'm sorry. Yeah, she should have been that. But it's almost like my daughter didn't get, these 2 years of high school. And therefore,
this is a great injustice.
It's a great injustice. Same thing with Jill. Jill also was very much part of this. She was obviously texting other kids. She was trying to figure out what was going on with Owen. She was doing all this stuff. And what I think is really interesting is Owen, which again, they're still very young, but Owen's like he's mad at Lauren, which is so, and I understand in his young brain how he could be mad at Lauren, but it feels like the parents, it feels like, Jill is also mad at Lauren, or maybe Dave's also mad at Lauren. Like, it's almost like his family blames Lauren herself, Lauren, maybe and Sean, for all of this, in addition to Kendra. Obviously, they're blaming Kendra. And that feels like a bit of, like, what gives you, just because it's almost like Owen's like, yeah, that's bad. She's part of that gross family or whatever it is. So I'm not going to talk to her anymore. That it's just weird. Like, he has this anger towards her that is, I don't know. I don't
Lauren
think not justified.
Yeah, Lauren literally did not. Lauren is the biggest victim here. She literally did nothing wrong, and I don't know when she's going to crack, because at the end of this show, she's just keeping it together. Where does she go from here? Where does she go from here? Where does Kendra go from here?
I don't know.
Kendra's lost everything.
I guess she's living with some family now. And I was reading this other article where they interviewed Skye Borgman. And she said that, because they were asking her, like, why would Kendra participate in this? And they said, she was eager to do it. She was open to it. She said that she kind of got excited about it as they went along. Kendra was saying that it's, it's really good. I'm talking about it. I'm processing it and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, oh, Skye. No, she was getting attention.
Yeah.
She does not care how she is going to get attention, but she's getting attention.
She's getting attention. Yeah. And you think back to the very beginning of the documentary before you know anything, and they're interviewing these parents and these kids and And Kendra's just sitting on the couch, talking and smiling, talking about their life, you know, the setup of, this is where we live. This is our daughter. This is this. And I'm involved in this. And then an hour later, you're just like
what?
Okay. Like and it takes a certain kind of personality to, in I don't know how, it seemed like in one interview to go from that to then talking about what you did.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I don't know.
Listen, I don't know what her true diagnosis is. I mean, I think this Munchausen thing is, seems plausible. I also suspect she may, again, this is my opinion, that she has, a personality disorder. I think people always want to jump to narcissism, but it may be histrionic or borderline or maybe something else. Could be something that, we're not even really seeing here. I think that it sounds to me like, and I don't know what went on in Kendra's childhood, but it sounds like she maybe didn't get the attention she needed, or when the only time she got attention was negative attention. And it sounds like, maybe she was not mentally well before the trauma that happened to her when she was 17, and maybe that solidified things. And then it becomes right. And again, I'm not justifying the behavior, but, it sounds like she had been sort of playing this role of being a good mom, but dishonest on the other side. I mean, she had a lot of secrets.
Yeah.
She had a lot of secrets she was holding on to.
A psychologist on Instagram, but a real psychologist, was talking about that. This is not a DSM diagnosis, but being a pathological liar.
Yeah.
Because that's associated with antisocial, narcissistic, and histrionic personality disorder, low self-esteem, fear of rejection, childhood trauma, impulsive. So that kind of, she hits most of those.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too is it's also possible that, that really nothing tragic, that maybe her childhood was that maybe she didn't get, it was possible that maybe nothing abusive happened in her childhood, but that maybe she just felt, it's possible that she just felt ignored by her parents. Or her parents might say, we paid a lot of attention to her, but it wasn't enough for Lauren. I mean, I think, for Kendra, I think it was this thing where it was like this deep hole. And I think she also felt this entitlement of, I've been hurt, I'm a victim, so my behavior is justified, and my actions are just me, responding to it. And then you lock into that rationale, you lock into those distortions, and then there you go. You can all of your lies, all of your stuff, you can justify. And she's still justifying it. Yeah, because she has learned nothing.
She was just trying to protect Lauren, from anything bad happening to her by, I don't know how this did that, but anyway, that in her mind, she thought she was protecting her.
Sorry. She claims that she was trying to protect her daughter, but she basically, her daughter also went through the same trauma just in a different way that she did.
Yeah.
So to me, I wonder if there's almost like this part of Kendra who wants, like, even though she's saying, I wanted to keep her safe, she also wanted her daughter to kind of maybe experience being sexualized, or these comments or whatever it is, to sort of balance or, parallel to what she was going through.
That's interesting. Yeah. Because she was raped, and then, she's almost like cyber raping like her own child.
I mean, that's what she's doing. Yeah, absolutely. And so it's a little bit like, okay, so how do you, that's where I'm keep trying to figure out, where do we make this leap? Because I'm not making excuses for Kendra, but I do believe she's a mentally ill person and that she has issues. But there is, I think the personality disorder keeps, that antisocial histrionic keeps her stuck in this victim place. And so, yeah, I don't know I don't know much about why you would want to traumatize your child in the same way you were traumatized, but
yeah,
you
wow, what a story.
Yeah. What a story.
What
oh my gosh.
Story. And
no wonder this is number 1 on Netflix.
Yeah. Because when I first saw it advertised, just the way you see these 2 young kids and, unknown, I'm like, what is this? It was not at all what I thought that it was going to be, but
yes,
very good. Highly recommend.
Yeah.
Check it out. So thank you everyone for joining us. We appreciate you, listening or watching. We're on YouTube as well. If you like the content here, we also have a Patreon where we do extra content. We have a bonus episode. We do, for our higher tier, we do monthly true crime and Ask Us Anything. And we also cover Sister Wives, which is coming back for season 20 very soon in a few weeks. And also Christine Brown Woolley just released a memoir, which we are going to be covering on our Patreon, although the first episode will be free on the free feed if you want to check it out. And we do Sister Wives, which drops every Monday. Right now, we're just doing some old episodes, just waiting for the new season to start. And coming up, we're also going to be covering Seeking Sister Wife, if you like that show. So it's just Sister Wives season.
Yes, it is.
Here.
Fall. Pumpkin spice and Sister Wives.
Instead of pumpkin spice season, it's Sister Wives season. So thank you so much. We're also on social media if you want to check us out there.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Right.
Did I cover everything?
Yep.
All right.
So.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone. Bye.
This message comes from Jackson. Taxes aren't something you can only think about once a year. With investments, planning for tax day is year-round. Fortunately, Jackson offers tax-efficient products. Visit jackson.com for more information on how our products can make your tax bill a little bit less painful. Jackson is short for Jackson Financial Incorporated, Jackson National Life Insurance Company, Lansing, Michigan, and Jackson National Life Insurance Company of New York, Purchase, New York.
Hi, this is Hannah Burner from Giggly Squad. Have you ever put on a bra that makes you feel like a goddess? Prepare to be obsessed with the Dream Angel's Wicked Bra from Victoria's Secret, the iconic brand behind the world's most comfortable bras. And I only wear the most comfortable bras. The bestseller features an innovative sling for perfect lift without padding, and the fit is chef's kiss. Awaken your inner goddess with new colors and super femme lace embroidery. Find out why this bra has thousands of 5-star reviews and counting. Shop it in stores and online at victoriassecret.com.
Howdy, howdy, ho, and welcome to Fantasy Fan Fellas. I'm Hayden, producer of the Fantasy Fangirls podcast and your resident lover of all things Sanderson.
And I'm Steven, your bookish internet goofball, but you can call me the Smash Daddy.
And we are currently deep diving Brandon Sanderson's fantasy epic, Mistborn. But here's the catch. Steven here has not read Mistborn before.
That's right, hey. So each week, you'll get my unfiltered, raw reactions to every single chapter.
And along the way, we'll do character deep dives, magic explainers, and Steven will even try to guess what's next. Spoiler alert, he'll be wrong.
Newsflash, I'm never wrong. Episodes come out every Wednesday, and you can find Fantasy Fan Fellas wherever you get your podcasts.